you Dynamite. Very, very, very late and rescheduled wrap up of Dynamite last night. Yes, I have no excuse really. There was a load of stuff with filming, family, weather, various other things that went wrong early this morning. Let me just adjust that slightly. There you go. You can see my whole head now, which is good. Yes, so the Dynamite wrap up was meant to be at 9:30 this morning, and sadly that did not take place due to a variety of complete fiascos and debacles. But yes, hence why I'm doing it now. So welcome everyone, and I'm just going to run through AEW Dynamite. To be honest, it wasn't um, probably not one of the better ones that I've seen, but it was still good. Don't get me wrong. So I'm probably not going to spend too much time on it. And yeah, we'll just go through and see what happened last night. After that, I'll have a quick talk about what's going on with WrestleMania, which I know one or two of you are not hugely amused with. Probably neither am I. But there you go. And then I'll let you guys know about what I'm doing sort of like next week or so, including a special musical performance tomorrow, which hopefully will go ahead. Fingers crossed, Wi-Fi dependent. Okay, cool, nice one. Also, just to say, anyone not watching this live, this will be on probably on YouTube podcasts. I'm having a hell of a time getting a WWE video downloaded at the minute, so just bear with me on that one. But it'll be available as podcast and a video. So if you've not caught it live due to my complete stupidity of not doing it straight after Dynamite last night, then you're more than welcome to listen to it afterwards. Anyway, cool, nice one. So yeah, we'll go in. So Dynamite started, and as most of you guys will know, who are AEW fans, Bryan Danielson came out to the commentary box because he's now going to be a. Let me just get that glare out of my glasses. That's really annoying. So Bryan Danielson came out, and he is now going to be the third commentator, looking like it's him, Excalibur, and Taz for the foreseeable. Having watched the whole show, to be honest, I think Danielson was really good. Actually, I actually enjoyed him on comms. I mean, to be fair, he should be good because he's a decent promo. Daniel, given the mic, Bryan Danielson, even. But yeah, no, I thought he was really, really good. He was quite engaging, knows his stuff. You can obviously tell you all about moves and everything. Who's going to know better than Bryan Danielson at the end of the day? He was really good. I really enjoyed his commentary, so I think it's a good move by AEW. And obviously, it keeps Danielson around, and he can help the talent, help people get over, and yeah, maybe come back for the odd match or two. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let me just have a look. Hi, Joel. You all right? How you doing, mate? First match was, let's have a look. Hangman. If you're wondering why I'm looking over my shoulder, I always have to explain this, by the way, is because I can't remember everything off the top of my head, unfortunately. So, like some of you who maybe have learning impediment type things, I just can't remember everything. So I have to have either a laptop, which I've got tonight with all my little notes, or a notepad full of scribbles and things that I can't even read after the fact. So, yes. First match was Hangman versus Josh Alexander. That was a really good match. Probably second best of the night. The only notes I've really got, I mean, Hangman basically went over. I would have thought he's probably going to do like a tour of the Don Callis family, because obviously there's that many people in the stable, and he's due to fight Kyle Fletcher All Out. So I would have thought that he'll be. I mean, I don't know what Wardlow's status is now with him getting injured, but maybe he goes through Fletcher. Excuse me, Archer, maybe a couple of the Young Bucks, all the other lads in there. Maybe Takeshita, I don't know, but that looks maybe like what they're going to do for a few months, not too sure. But yeah, no, it was a really good match. There was this really, really mental move where basically Hangman suplexes Josh Alexander over his shoulder and like into a guardrail, which was excuse me again. Um, yeah, very very insane. Anyway, Hangman got the win. Afterwards, Carl Fletcher comes out, um, and Hangman agrees to face him. They cut a promo on each other. I'm going to beat you. You're going to beat me. You look good in. Hangman said you look good in a suit, but you don't know how to put socks on. And it's basically like you're just not ready. He had a line in there as well where he was just like, "You look like me 6 years ago when I went to face Chris Jericho," which I thought was quite decent. But um, I'm I know people like Fletch, and I like Carl Fletcher as well. I- I'm not sure about him quite yet being at AEW Men's World Title level. I mean, obviously he's still got the other belt. I would probably just have kept him with which belt has he got now? I forget the belt that he's got. I probably would have just kept him with that belt for now. Maybe just go through the mid card and then look to get a title opportunity at some point next year. But then again, I'm old school. I'm going off old school WWF Intercontinental. So you had the IC belt for about a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years. You were the workhorse, and then eventually you got promoted into the title picture. Like obviously Bret Hart used to have to wrestle people like Mr. Perfect and stuff like that. And then eventually he got into the title picture of HBK. So maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I think Carl Fletcher's a hell of an asset, and I think he's going to be a hell of a wrestler one day. He's probably going to be one of the best in the world. But I don't mean to be fair. I don't know who else Hangman could have faced, to be honest, in terms of like a program. But like I said, maybe he's just going to go for all the Death Riders. I'm not totally sure what's going to happen, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let me just have a look at the comments again. Hi, Super Bros. Oh, it's hi, Cactus Monk. Happy birthday. Um, Happy birthday to you, presumably. I don't know. It's definitely not my birthday, mate. But thank you anyway. If it is happy birthday for me, I'll save it for May when my birthday is. What happened next? We had so there was Rio and Windsor. Sorry, I just love saying that. And Mercedes Monet against Emi Sakuraya. Match was all right. I think all four women could have done better. It wasn't the best tag match I've ever seen. I do love Alex Windsor. I just think she's absolutely bloody brilliant. Like I said, I saw her at AEW Forbidden Door when she had the title match and the four-way with Mercedes, and like she just seems super over at the minute. And obviously because she's an English girl as well, I just wish her all the best. Like she's so good. But Rio got a double tap out. She tapped out Sakuraya, whilst Windsor tapped out Mercedes on the other side of the ring. I mean, I'm assuming now there's all the fuss about Rio that she's going to go up against Mercedes. Again, same sort of thing with Carl Fletcher. I mean, look, I would love Tekla to win a title. Like I said, if you've heard me talk before, I'm super high on Tekla. I think she's absolutely brilliant. One of the best wrestlers in the world at the minute, and she's probably one of my favourites. It could be good, this group with her and Julia Hart, but personally I would have liked Tekla to have just been a killer and just gone for all the women on the roster. I mean, in terms of who else Mercedes could have faced, I mean, obviously she's already done Statlander, Willow Nightingale, obviously she's just had the programme with Tony Storm. I mean, to be honest, I would have liked her to have faced Athena and maybe have Athena turn babyface because she's that popular. I don't know, but yeah, no, it'll be good. I mean, I like Rio, but like I said, she's not that Riho even, but she's not one of my favourites. But yeah, no, fair play to the girl. Obviously, she's a very good wrestler. Swig a walk for the working one. There we go. Yes, after that there were so this was the next cool thing. So MJF, as in yes, MJF, who should have been enjoying his wedding post day wedding, basically, came to Dynamite to cut a promo. Now, they say he's come back to cut a promo. I mean, maybe they've already recorded it a couple of weeks ago or something like that, and it's in the can. I mean, it looks like he recorded it at the arena. To be fair to him, um, he must have very understanding misses. He did call his brand new wife a how do I put this politely? He basically implied his wife was stupid, but with far more rudeness than I would my own wife, who I would not call stupid in the first place. But yeah, go back and watch the Dynamite highlights and you'll see what I'm on about. It was really good promo. Yeah, like MJF, I think is probably my favourite promo probably in the world at the minute. Out of everyone, honestly, he's just so good. He's such an arse, but like when, but he's just one of those. He says he's generational talent, and he is. He's one of the best wrestlers, talkers, move set. He's engaging. He looks like $1 million, as the Americans would say. Um, I actually think AEW are going to struggle to keep MJF much longer. I'm not saying he's outgrowing AEW because I like AEW, I like WWE, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, as most of you guys know as subscribers. Um, he's starting to look like he's on the wrong show. There are certain wrestlers who suit certain brands, like for example, I think someone like AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens would really suit AEW, and then there's people in AEW that you kind of think, could they do better? Like DMD, I don't know what's going on with her, but she seems to me like she would be fit right in with WWE, and the same sort of thing. Same sort of thing with here, basically with MJF. So where they move from here, I don't know. But yeah, no, it was a really good promo. Cut it on Mark Briscoe. So it looks like that feud's going to keep going for a while, which is good because I think Briscoe's work is absolutely solid. So yeah, that should be decent. Next we had there was this really odd segment where I don't know if it was maybe the feed I was watching, but there was this really odd segment with FTR. By the way, who have got this really cool new T-shirt? So the move where they do the Shatter Machine, they've actually got both of them on a T-shirt delivering a Shatter Machine to some poor person through a table. It looks really cool. I might have to buy that. But yeah, they were just like challenging randos in the crowd to have a fight with them, which was really, really weird. It was really odd. And then all of a sudden they start beating up the cameramen. So like the cameramen fall down, and then basically they're punching and hitting all the cameramen and stuff. I mean, presumably this is all aimed at Copeland and Christian, I guess. Who I don't think were on Dynamite last night. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange segment, but to be fair, the beating up of the cameraman was borderline highly amusing, to be fair to them. So yeah, so there was that. Then we had probably match of the night for me was Ricochet versus Shelton Benjamin. Absolute flawless 5-star match. No need for me to say anything more. It was really, really good. Ricochet got the win in the end by cheating with his like weird new little group that he's got. Basically, he said that like when he faced Benjamin that Lashley wouldn't come out, and neither would his group, who are called, is it the Gates of Agony? I think something along those lines. I keep forgetting their names. Yeah, they come out and basically one of them punches Benjamin while the referee isn't looking, and then Ricochet gets the 1, 2, 3, usual heel screw job, blah 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 blah. But yeah, no, it was an excellent match. Really enjoyed it. I'd like to see Ricochet a bit further up the card. If I'm being honest, I mean, he's probably another one for me that you could have gone with for Hangman, but obviously because Ricochet is quite now low down in the card, which I do feel a bit for him to an extent because this is kind of why he left WWE for, because he wanted to be, if not the man, he wanted to be high up on the card. And I know he's got personality now in AEW, an annoying little something heel personality, but it is good what he's doing, but he needs to be way, way higher than he is now. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. The Tony Storm versus Sky Blue match was one of the most bizarre, violent, hilarious things that I've ever seen. Now, first things first, I apologise to anyone who's listening on the podcast, but there's only one way I can describe it. So I'm not going to swear, I'll just try and find a way of describing it. So there's a bit in the match with Storm and Sky Blue where Tony Storm's taken a battering from Sky Blue, and Sky Blue is outside of the ring, and Tony Storm's kind of like this against the ring ropes, trying to catch a breath, and then all of a sudden Sky Blue picks out this stapler, and I'm thinking it's going to be like a weird callback to Swerve Strickland and Hangman when they had that insane match, which is one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen, by the way. I thought it would be a callback, that she was going to staple her arm or something like that. But for want of a better phrase, Miss Blue then set about stapling Tony Storm's arse with this stapler, and I'm just like, basically both cheeks. Like, she literally stapled both of her bottom cheeks, and like, I gather they were actual real staples. I don't know if they're gimmicked staples, but yeah, I actually went, oh, and laughed at the same time. I didn't even know that was scientifically possible, but yeah, it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. Who on earth came up with that? I do not know, but yeah, no, it was mental. There was also a bit where Tony Storm basically, there's a gimmick table outside, and it's got covering over it, and she pulls this cover off, and it's full of mouse traps, and all of a sudden there's cheese and stuff, and Tony Storm tries to start eating like the gimmick cheese, but when she tries to put Sky Blue on, Sky Blue ended up reversing it, and she ended up throwing Tony Storm into a load of mouse traps, which presumably were gimmicks. I can't imagine they were real mouse traps, because obviously that would have slightly hurt. I don't know. Tony Storm does seem to have a ridiculous high level pain tolerance, though, so maybe it was. But yeah, in the end, hit each other with trash cans, tables, all sorts. It was wild. And then Tony Storm ended up getting the 1, 2, 3 with the Storm. I can never remember her name. Storm Zero, that's the one. Yeah, and then they get 1, 2, 3, and then Tony Storm is. I mean, I don't even think it was for the title. I think it was just a street fight, to be fair. But yeah, no, it was. That was really good as well. And then to end with the AEW portion, it was the Young Bucks and the Death Riders versus Brodido and the Ops. Match was okay. I have to say, Brodido is very, very cool. Let me just have a look. Piff Pressure, happy birthday, big bro. Thank you, Piff. People are watching. Have I got a thing on me that says it's my birthday or something, or is it something on my timeline or something? Because my birthday's on May 16th. Just looking around. Have I got a happy birthday thing on? Oh, pass. Yeah, I'll take it, thank you. But yeah, definitely not my birthday. But cheers anyway. Sarah Louise and Mariana. Hi, how you doing? You alright? Yeah, so it was like the Bucks and the Riders versus the Octon Brodido. Yeah, match was what it was. It was okay. The thing I was going to say though, every single time I watch I forgot his name, Bandido even, and obviously I love Brody King as well. Like, honestly, especially his choice of t-shirts. Yes, but every time I watch Bandido, like, I didn't know much about him at first, but he is, oh my god, he's so good. I mean, for me, he could be a breakout AEW star. I mean, potentially you could throw him against Nakada if you build him up enough for maybe the Unified Championships. I mean, I'm not the championship either. I'm not too sure what the plans are. I mean, presumably they're going to keep Brody to go for a while. The other thing I've got in my notes is and I'm sure people would agree with me, Samoa Joe needs to leave the Ops. I don't know how much longer Joe is going to wrestle for, because obviously he's doing a lot of work in acting and like video game recording. He's on about being a trainer. I would just like to see Joe for maybe the last couple of years. Hopefully it's a bit longer than that. I don't know how long he wants to wrestle for, but I would just like to see Killer Samoa Joe back again, just kicking ass and stuff. The Ops are all right, and I kind of get why they get why I've done it, because obviously they're trying to get Powerhouse and I forgot the other guy's name, the wrestler. He calls himself as a nickname, and I've completely forgotten his name, but he's also very good. Anyway, yeah, I get why they're having to do it, obviously, because Joe can get these two guys over, and maybe work with Hook and stuff, but yeah, I would just like to see Samoa Joe on his own as a killer, basically. I'd love to see him and Swerve match up again, to be honest. I'd love to see Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay before Joe hangs it up. That would be awesome. But obviously Ospreay and Strickland are out for the foreseeable now. I mean, it's looking, from what I've read, it's looking like those guys might be out till like the new year, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, maybe they're just resting up, I don't know, to go for next year, but hopefully they'll both come back, because obviously Ospreay and Strickland being off the show is a massive, massive takeaway from AEW. But getting to the main thing, just to make sure that I cover the thumbnail that I put up. After the match, Death Riders do the usual thing. Mox is in there, and then all of a sudden Darby Allin comes out, starts beating on John Moxley, getting the up hand of him. Then all of a sudden, the mysterious figure in black comes running out, ambushes Darby Allin, takes his hood off, and bizarrely, it's Daniel Garcia. Now, it's a bit of a callback to what he did at last year's AEW All In, which I went to. Oh, cheap plug, by the way. I've got AEW All In 2023, 2024, and AEW Forbidden Door all on this channel, which is Geek Boy Meta 7381. And if you just look in the playlist called Geek Boy Does Wrestling, all the AEW stuff's in there. So I've been to like literally the 3 London shows. Also to confirm, I will definitely be going to AEW All In. I think it's going to be an All In at Wembley Stadium next year. I don't know when the tickets are coming out, but I think they came out this year in late February, March. So yeah, I'm just going to get myself a ticket immediately. I'm going to try this year as well and get as far as I can towards the front. Because if you've seen my videos, obviously I'm quite a bit of a way back half the time, but I'm going to try and get more towards the front if I can do. So, Mama, if you're listening, early Christmas present, thank you very much. But yeah, Daniel Garcia turns heel. Now, obviously he was in that sort of weird program with Nigel McGuinness for a little bit where he was a student, so I don't know if Nigel's going to be brought into the storyline, maybe. I don't know. It just seems to have come for a bit left field. But Daniel Garcia was one of those who I did say was desperately needing something, like either a gimmick or he needed something to do or he needs to turn heel. So I'm kind of glad he's with the Death Riders. As most of you guys know who've watched my feeds and stuff, I'm not a huge fan of the Death Riders or the storyline. It's okay now that it's not all about the world title, and as long as they keep Moxley away from Hangman, then I'm kind of okay with it. But I just don't like the group, and it's just a personal preference. I mean, some things they've done are cool. I mean, the thing that they did in London when I saw Forbidden Door, the attack on Ospreay was very, very well done. As we were leaving the arena at the O2, all the fans were leaving. This is also on my channel, by the way. I managed to catch, like going through the underground of the O2 where all the wrestlers go. I managed to catch Shafir, Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta, and all the crowd were giving Shafir a load of stick and stuff, and she was literally effing and blinding, flipping the birds and all sorts, and challenging all these big art blokes to come down for a fight. So I do like Shafir, to be fair. She is very, very good. She's another one actually. Once the Death Riders thing is over, I would like Shafir to get a push on the women's side because I think she could do very, very well in that division. Um, I mean, Shafir against Tony Storm would be cool. It would be very, very cool if we could have that, or Shafir against Mercedes. She'd definitely be an asset to the women's division, but um, I guess we've got the Death Riders for the foreseeable future. And now that Danny Garcia's joined, I mean, there's potential there. I mean, maybe if you want to flip Mox back into a haha. Yep, not heard that one before. Yeah, I'm fine, Chris. How are you, mate? Yeah. Um, yeah, like I said, I'm not a massive fan of the Death Riders, but maybe they can flip it where Mox can go back to being a face at some point, and maybe Daniel Garcia takes over the Death Riders. I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm pleased for Daniel Garcia at least that he's now getting something to do at least because he's a really, really talented boy, and he shouldn't have been floundering around doing what he's doing. But that's the only thing with AEW. Like, I just find it sometimes that they put a rocket ship up someone's arse, basically. It's like Daniel Garcia came back last year in a massive match against MJF and Will Ospreay. Huge pop, huge ovation. He's got a rocket on his back. He gets the title about, what, 3 or 4 months later, and you're thinking, yes, here we go. And then title leaves him, and it's just like, oh yeah, we'll throw him with Adam Cole and his group, and then we'll just put him with Nigel McGuinness, and yeah, we won't do anything else with him. And it's a bit like this with AEW sometimes. Now I know they've done this a lot better. I mean, the storytelling's been a lot crisper, cleaner. It's been a hell of a lot better, at least over the last 6 or 7 months. But you've still got people like, I mean, DMD's just sat there collecting the paycheck, doing nothing. I don't know what's happened with DMD. I don't know whether this MJF feud thing is true. I don't think any of us would ever know. I have absolutely no idea if it's a factor. But it was the same thing with Ricky Starks, i.e. Ricky Saints in NXT. They kind of have these people and they just like leave them, and then there's no explanation as to what's happening with them. So yeah, yeah, probably the same thing's happened with Daniel. But as I say, at least they're now doing something with him. So in terms of where that leaves us for All Out, I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously we've got Hangman versus Carl Fletcher. I don't think we've got the women's announced yet. I mean, I'm imagining Riho even faces Mercedes. I think Edge, my God. Adam Copeland, excuse me, slip of the tongue there. I'd imagine Adam Copeland and Christian are going to face FTR. Has anything else been announced? Let me think. Look at my people. No, I don't think it has actually. There's probably been a couple more, but I genuinely can't remember. I think Carter may possibly have a excuse me, a match for the Unified. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look at the card, but I'll definitely do a preview of it as well because I'm gonna get onto this in a minute, but I'm gonna have to apologise to my missus because I'm gonna try and watch AEW All Out next Saturday, and then flick over to Netflix about an hour later and watch WWE WrestlePalooza. So basically, wrestling in my house is going to be on UK time, I guess, between 6 o'clock at night and 4:30 in the morning the next day. So that's going to be a very long day, very long night. But I'm going to try and cover it all on the channel next week. So I'll do shorts and vlogs for both. If I don't do AEW, I'll cover it like the next day and just I might just buy the event and rewatch it the next day, and then I'll do a vlog on it. But I'll definitely do a preview for it next week at some point once I know when the matches are. When exactly I'm meant to do that preview, I have no idea because I have a boatload of stuff cracking off next week. But yeah, I'll definitely do a preview for it. It might just end up being on the Dynamite show that I do every Thursday. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. There's definitely going to be a WrestlePalooza preview as well next week, which I think I want to say I'm doing on Wednesday. If you just basically, if you go into my channel and just go look at upcoming events, you'll see all the stuff I'm doing basically. So yeah, overall AEW, if I was to give it a rating, C plus slash B minus. Basically, I didn't think it. To be honest, after the really good shows AEW we've had recently, I didn't think it was necessarily the best one that I've ever seen. Put it that way, but it certainly wasn't bad at all by any stretch of the imagination. The one thing I did want to mention was I thought the crowd was really good, and obviously it was a small sort of intimate arena, which I don't mind at all. It's quite nice than being in when you keep getting big arenas all the time. It's quite nice when it's quite a close knit, close small crowd next to a ring, um, which is fine. The way that the stage was made up, and this is a bit of a weird comment, wasn't for me. I like it when the venue is small, but you've also got to make the venue look big, even though it's small. If you see what I mean. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe I'm not making a great deal of sense, to be honest. But I just thought the way that the stage was being made and the graphics and stuff, I just thought it just didn't go for me. I can't really explain it any better than that, but yeah, I just thought the staging could have been better. But it's only a small, minor complaint. Basically, it's just me being a complete weirdo, to be honest. But there we go. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about on AEW? No, no. Just to say next week, and before I go, I'll tell you everything that I'm doing. But I'll be back hopefully for AEW Dynamite live reaction. Fingers crossed, providing I don't have another day like I've just experienced today. I'll be watching it about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning UK time, and then I'll be with you guys for a live reaction at hopefully around 9 o'clock, earlier if I can do, so I can kind of tag on to the end. But yeah, that'll be next Thursday anyway. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, I know this is an AEW stream that I'm doing, but I haven't had time to talk about it, and I was going to do a video, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just talk about it now. It's wrestling at the end of the day. Is the news about WrestleMania. So I heard from, I think it was Denise Salcedo, who is awesome, by the way. I love Denise. What absolutely boss woman she is. Love her shows. But yeah, I saw like an Insta post from Denise basically saying, so she didn't confirm, obviously, but that there'd been some sort of thing where the Saudi Arabian government, no less, well, the sports arm of the government, whatever it's called, rider season, I don't know, had basically leaked out by pretty much accident that they were going to be hosting WrestleMania. Not this next year, but in 2027. Then they've had to retract it. WWE hasn't confirmed it. However, there's some sort of high-ranking official who allegedly has been caught on camera basically saying, yes, WWE is going to be in Saudi Arabia in a couple of years. Now, look, I'm not going to dance around it. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have got an issue with the country of Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to get involved in that. Whatever your politics are, cool, fine. I have my own views. Other people have their own views. It is what it is. The main thing that I have a bit of an issue with, and it's a very English thing, and you probably know what I'm going to say, of all the places that they could have had the first international WrestleMania, for it to be in Saudi before London, Wembley, is, for me, I think it's bizarre. Obviously, I know money-wise that Saudi Arabia is an absolute money spinner for WWE, and I get commercially why they're doing it, and that's fine. Again, whatever your politics are, WWE is a business at the end of the day, so they're going to put their they're going to sell their wares to the highest bidder at the end of the day. And look, it's business. They're not here to be in politics. They're here to make money at the end of the day. And anyone who thinks that's wrong is fair play if that's your opinion, but like that's what they're in the business of doing. However, for it not to be in London instead of Saudi Arabia, I mean, I get the Saudis will pay more, but London WrestleMania and London WrestleMania week, WWE and TKO are leaving massive money on the table because people will do in this country. If you're watching for America, might know what I mean. But people in this country will legitimately do a week of WrestleMania. You will have people who will pay hundreds of pounds just to go for one day of a WrestleMania build-up, not even attend the stadium. They'll just be happy taking a few pictures, going to London, hotels, getting merch, and so on and so forth. And it will sell out Wembley Stadium. I mean, AEW, well, allegedly nearly did. I mean, I was there. I mean, it wasn't a sellout, but there was a good 80,000 people in. If WWE do Wembley Stadium, the tickets will be gone within 4 minutes. Period, as the Americans would say. Probably not even that. They'd probably go in 2 minutes. I will, whenever it goes to London, I will try my best to get a ticket. If I'm in the gods at Wembley Stadium, I'd be grateful because there's no way I will get ringside tickets for that. For a start, they're too expensive, in my opinion. And I mean the amount of visitors that you're going to get as well, as opposed to I know, obviously I know that a lot of people visit Saudi Arabia. I'm not naive. However, the amount of people from Europe, wrestling fans, especially France, Germany, Belgium, the Dutch, the Italians, will all come over to this country and to come and see WWE if they do WWE World live appearances, if they do shows in the build up. They will spend a fortune on WWE stuff in London. So for me, I think this is just my opinion. I think it's a massive, massive mistake to do it in Saudi Arabia. I've kind of got my head around PLEs being in the Saudi. I mean, to be fair, the last one was really good and was really well produced. Again, take politics out completely. That is what it is. Like I said, you'll have your opinions. I definitely have my opinions. However, at the end of the day, like I said, WWE is a business. But for me, overall, and I'm not an accountant, I don't have a degree in finance, and I might be talking out of my own bottom, and I'm fairly sure I'm not with this. I think you smash whatever Saudi can offer you if it's in London. I mean, WWE could basically have a fortnight essentially in England. You could have, because obviously they do the road to WrestleMania things like they did last year in this country. You could basically have WWE for a week in London, doing house shows. You have it in Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds, where I'm from, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dublin, Belfast. I mean, there's so many, Southampton. There's so many places that you could have it. Southampton, that was a bit of a random shout, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean. You could literally have 1 week where WWE makes millions, potentially billions in this country, and then you have WrestleMania week. So obviously you have Monday Night Raw, you've got the SmackDown, and the packages they can offer. You've got people that will buy SmackDown going into WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, and then if you had Monday Night Raw as well. I mean, you're talking if they did it for between 10 days and 2 weeks, billions and billions of pounds. So, I know I'm a bit biased. Obviously, I'm English. I would like it to be in my country. I just think it's a bit of a mistake. Look, at some point, WrestleMania was always going to be in Saudi Arabia. I'm just hoping that maybe this is a swerve and it's actually going to be in London. Or if it's in America, I'd just like it to be somewhere like... I love Chicago. I think Chicago's awesome. Like Chicago or a Boston or Madison Square Garden. I mean, I don't know where hasn't held it for a while, or in LA or somewhere like that, somewhere big, somewhere massive. I mean, I don't know how, if there's any Americans who end up watching me or watch this as a video, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I mean, to use a really weird analogy, we keep getting asked as football fans, so not American football, soccer football, as in English soccer or football. We keep getting asked about this ridiculous 39th game at somewhere like either in Saudi or America and stuff, and a lot of English fans, including myself, do not want a 39th match. I have no interest in the Premier League or the Championship or any English fixture being fulfilled in a foreign country. It's no disrespect to anyone. Obviously, I know the Americans would love it. I'm sure it'd be a fantastic occasion, but English football is, it should be played in England. It's not really being like all English and stuff, but to me it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the one thing with that, this is a bit of a tangent by the way, but if you go and play a 39th game, who's at home and who's away for a start off? I mean, what are we doing? Like, you could have, I don't know, let's say for example Norwich City go up to the Premier League before they have this 39th game, and you say Norwich City are at home in Miami, except they're playing Liverpool. Don't really help Norwich City because there'll be about 200 Norwich fans and about 7 million Liverpool fans. So the point I'm making is, like, I would be really annoyed if something English was taken and put into America. So I would imagine there are going to be a lot of Americans who are not hugely best pleased about Mania being put into like either Saudi or London for that matter. So, but I reckon a lot of Americans would be a lot more happy if it was London, because I mean, me and my missus were just there the other week, and honestly, there's so many Americans I actually ended up with a table full of you guys basically, and obviously they were lovely, lovely people. But yeah, they absolutely love London. But I don't know. For me, I just think it's a bad idea. The other thing as well is I didn't know this. I must have missed this on the news because I try and cover as much wrestling as I can do. The Royal Rumble is actually in Saudi Arabia. I mean, to be honest, I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean, like I said, I'm happy for Saudi to have like your BPLEs. I mean, a push Survivor Series. For me, SummerSlam, Royal Rumbles, and WrestleManias probably should be held in America. But again, being completely biased, if they were to go abroad, I think you first put. Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean the French have got a claim now as well. I mean, you look at the reactions in Lyon and Paris. I mean, those French crowds are absolutely amazing. Fair play to them. I mean, you're probably best off doing England and France before you. I mean, obviously the Germans have got amazing stadiums as well. So look, and they've got tradition of watching wrestling and stuff. So I don't know. It's a bit of a loaded point, but just to conclude, I would prefer if WrestleMania was not in Saudi Arabia, but I'm happy for them to have like your normal events. I suppose the Royal Rumble I can just about live with, but not WrestleMania for me. When London, England in general, is just far more commercially viable. But that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, please feel free to disagree. Not a problem. Anyway, another swig of water for the working man. Ooh, a lot of talking tonight. So yes, folks, that's about it for the wrestling basics. Thanks everyone for watching. Just a couple of brief things before I go. So tomorrow I'm going to be live, but it's not going to be wrestling. It's nothing to do with Liverpool, who as subscribers will know is my football team. I'm actually going to be live streaming a music concert gig thing, which for the YouTube people watching, I have permission from the landlord, and also permission from the acts, and also it's not a paid promotion. There we go. Just in case anyone's watching. Anyway, I'm going to be covering something called, and I'm going to read my notes just to make sure I've got it right, Hard Light, which is in Leeds, which is where I'm from, and it's a night of dark electronica live from Leeds, and it's somewhere called the Fox and New, which, if you know Leeds, is a pub and sort of live music venue, which is just opposite Park Lane College. I think, and I should have looked at this before, so I'm going to have to do it live now. I think the event starts. Yeah, so the event starts at 8 o'clock, and it's going to be um, yeah, it's going to be 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock at night, basically. And I'm going to try and stream a lot of it. I'm just going to try and get the acts if I can do, because I've completely forgot who the acts are, to be honest. I'm really sorry for the acts, by the way. However, there is one person I can tell you who will be there. My very good friend and confidant, a short dark stranger, otherwise known as Mr. Cabaret Chris, will be your compere for the evening. He'll also be performing as well. I'm not sure when he's on, but also as well, because I'm shouting at one of my mates, give his channel a try. It's Ash Toads, I believe, on YouTube. It's all in. Basically, if you go on my channel, the hard light thing is an upcoming thing. So on the notifications, it'll give all the details. But Cabaret is on Ash Toads, and he's a short dark stranger on YouTube. But so just give his channel a try as well if you'd like. It's very, very good. I know I'm one of his mates, but I'm very biased. He's very, very good. Yeah, so if you want to come along to that, I'm just having a look now. I think I've got further details. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if you want to see that tomorrow night, I'm hoping that I can stream it between sort of 8 and 11 o'clock. I don't know if there's going to be some issues with the Wi-Fi connection and the YouTube streaming. If there is, what I will do is I will do a vlog for it, and I'll do some YouTube shorts, and you can see the acts later, basically. And then, yeah, you can enjoy it from there, but hopefully I'll be able to stream it live. So it's going to feature a band called Silk Circus, Transients, with a 4 in it, which is interesting. And the main headline is a band called Deerface, as well as I say, a short dark stranger. Mr. Cabaret Chris will be a compare. So yeah, like I said, that'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow. If you want to come along, at least virtually, and I'm sure the venue would have you as well. Awesome, cool. And I'll see you for that tomorrow night. Yeah, it should be really good. I'm a bit nervous about it because I kind of agreed to do it, as a short dark stranger will know, after several glasses of red wine. And I said, yeah, I'm sure I could do that. And now I actually have to do it tomorrow. And I'm kind of like, oh, never done this before. So, yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be all right. So, yeah, if you want to tune in for that, that'll be cool. In terms of stuff that's coming up, normal stuff on the channel. So, I'll be back on Saturday night for the late, what have I called it? The late SmackDown reaction show. That's going to be on Saturday night at about 11 o'clock. So I'll be reviewing SmackDown, like late night Saturday night. I will be back on Wrestling Wise for Monday Night Raw, probably about 3:30 in the morning next Tuesday morning. America time, I'm guessing it's about 10 o'clock at night, I don't know. And then, like I said, I'm going to try and get back to AEW for about 9 o'clock in the morning next Thursday. And then, like I said, at the end of that week, I'm going to try and cover WrestlePalooza. I might even do like the last 30 minutes live, maybe, I don't know. So that'll be the Brock, Cena, CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Seth Rollins and Bex. And like I said, I'm also going to try and watch All Out as well. But I'm not totally sure if I can do that yet because I'm not sure about commitments and stuff. So yeah, a lot of wrestling stuff coming up. If you are a fan of these guys, which I know some of you are, I will be doing a live reaction for Liverpool versus Burnley as well, which, again, let me put it this way. There's a fairly good chance if Liverpool win, I might be enjoying the night because I'm off work. So the reaction show may have to be the next day due to me not being of sound mind for the entire day. Is the politest thing I would say, basically. Yeah, and in terms of other stuff coming up, so that's all the wrestling stuff. I told you about Hard Light. I'm gonna try. Oh, if anyone was interested in the film Weapons, I'm going to film something maybe tonight actually about that because I've got like a movie podcast as well, which I don't do as much as the other wrestling stuff, Comic Con stuff, Liverpool, Pride, etc., horror, etc., etc. But movies is just whenever I see one that I really like. Saw Weapons the other day, was absolutely freaking awesome. Did some YouTube shorts about it. Aunt Gladys, what a girl. So yeah, I'm going to do like a podcast type thing for that as well, which will be on the Geek Boy Meta Does Movies. If I don't do it tonight, it will be in the next couple of days, so that will drop at some point in the next 2 or 3 days. And also as well, just before I go, I'm going to be doing something called Geek Queen, which my lovely little lad has told me basically sucks as a name. And I said, well, not as much as WrestlePalooza sucks as a name. But yeah, basically, Geek Queen, like in Halloween style, basically. I'm going to be going to a Gothica day, a horror convention at Hull, which will be, I'm not too sure, I think that's the 26th of October. I've got all of this stuff on notifications anyway, so just check out my schedule. I'm also going to Sheffield Comic Con, Barnsley Comic Con. I'm going to try and go to both footy grounds because they're quite near each other. So when I go to Sheffield, I'm going to hop back on the train and go to Bramall Lane, maybe go to Meadowhall, and then when I'm at Barnsley, I'm going to go to Oakwell, which is around the corner from the Metrodome, where I'm going for Barnsley Comic Con. Also going to be watching Predator Badlands, which is kind of horror movie adjacent, I guess. And oh yeah, Leeds Alternative Market, which is the Gothic Festival, which is on October the 20th, which I'm going to try and live stream. So yeah, all that cool stuff coming up. So yeah, just if you like what you see, just like and subscribe. If not, no problems. Thanks for checking me out. And yeah, I'll be back to do another one of these Dynamite reviews next Thursday, basically, hopefully a little bit earlier. Like I said, next time I'll be on doing a wrestling thing will be the late SmackDown reaction show, which will be 11 o'clock on Saturday. But yeah, like I said, if you want to tune in for Hard Light tomorrow, Night of Dark Electronica, I'll be streaming that from a live music venue at around 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So yeah, hope to see you guys there. Cool. Nice one, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.